Hi everybody. As promised for some of you by email, I'm going to review the final exam right now. A few of you wrote to me saying, what is this final going to be? And today is still in July, and I thought I better go over it to explain it. I know that many of you, all of you, have other classes. Some of you have 4 classes, so time management is really important. Our final exam is due August 15th, and I was going to open up the link to it on August 10th. I may end up opening it earlier, and if I do, I will email you to let you know, because I really should, right? Like, it's not a cheating exam. You have to give answers. It's like writing a paper. There are 10 questions. I give you 15 questions based on the work we've been doing for the last, well, now 8 weeks, but it'll be 10 weeks by the time the final officially comes, even if you do it a little sooner. And you get to pick 10 out of the 15 that you feel comfortable answering. You may answer all 15 if you like, but I'm only counting 10. So you cannot get 150 on the test. You can get 100 though, and that's what we're shooting for. Many of you have been getting 80 to 100 on the journals and the discussion boards, and that's really high. That means you are taking it in, the willingness to try for an answer, giving good answers, good insights, good thinking, very honest, very valuable, very valuable. And of course, you don't get to read each other's journals. I do, and I've been so impressed. And especially the students who are going on for their 4-year degree, I'm thinking, yep, you're going to be a good writer. You are a good writer. And if you're going into psychology or human services, you are well on your way, because the self-exam itself is the one that can actually grow and then help others. So it's incredibly valuable, the work you've been doing. All right, to the final exam. So once you get to the link where the final exam is, and this says a week, I think, well, it's August 10th to August 15th, but it could be sooner. You click on it, and then you just click on where it says final exam due between Monday, August 10th to Saturday, August 15th. And then when you open it up, the instructions are right there, the directions. And the key thing is that you only have to answer 10 out of the 15. And each answer should be in prose. It should be sentences, right? 1 paragraph to 2 paragraphs. No big essays, but not one-word answers either. Give me some examples, and I'm going to go through the questions now and give you some examples of how you could be answering it. I'm not putting words into your mouth. You're going to find your own answers for sure, but I want you to feel comfortable. You know, usually, traditionally, in a face-to-face class, I'm in the room when the exam is being given. So if a student has a question on the question, I can answer it right there for everybody, and it clears things up. I have noticed from my online teaching, if I do not review the final questions, I might have students who are very bright, very talented, excellent students go off in a whole different direction. And not that that's always a bad thing, but you want to get the full points on this test, right? So it says here, please select 10 of the 15 questions to answer. And what you need to know too, if you've never taken an exam on a computer before, you're going to you're going to get the instructions, and then you're going to click continue, and now you're going to get right into the questions. There is no timing on this exam. It's not timed. Sometimes you might take an exam like a math exam, sometimes, not all the time, where there'll be a timer in the corner that's like timing. We give you 2 minutes a question or 5 minutes a question, and you're starting to get it's not like this. This is not like this. This is a writing exam, so it's not like that. So there's no crazy timer. When I'm in a situation where I have to take a test like that, because I've had some different tests through the years I've had for different certifications I put a sticky note over the timer, because as soon as I know that the clock is ticking, my anxiety is ticking too. So we don't want that. We want this to be as anxiety-free. Life has been anxiety-full. We don't need to add to it with your class here. Yeah. All right. So the first question says this, and I'm going to tell you right now so you can write notes if you want to, but you're going to have these questions I think I'm going to open it up pretty soon, so don't be surprised if I say it's open. My dean said just wait to the end, but I know some of you want to get going on your coursework. Then you'll have the journals. you'll have your student video to present, and you'll have your discussion boards, but you can know this is happening. All right, question 1. In the video by Julian Treasure, How to Speak So People Want to Listen, please name 4 of the 7 deadly sins that block listening. Right? So that's really an objective question. That's not even subjective. So you have to, if you haven't watched the video, you go back and watch the video that's in YouTube by Julian Treasure entitled How to Speak So People Want to Listen. I think you've all watched it. But if you haven't, make sure you watch it. And then he's going to talk about the 7 deadly sins. Pick 4 of them and just make a list. That's the first answer. Now, what you're going to see, and I'm going to show you by this video, and then I'll put it back right here. And maybe, I don't know if I'm showing this or not, that there's a place to save your answer. Save your answer up above. So if you're not ready to submit the answer, don't. What I would do if I were you, I would go through all the questions, just save the answer. Don't submit anything, because once you save and submit, you can't go backwards. And every summer, somebody says, can I do that test again? I said, did you submit it? They said, yep. I said, no, it's already logged in. It's done. So do not submit until the very last moment. And it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, depending on when you open it up the first time. Don't worry about the timing. But when you're absolutely ready, in the lower corner, you'll say save and submit. But right near every question, up in the upper right-hand corner, it says 10 points. Then it says save answer, just save it. So you can go back to it any time. I would definitely do that. First question's on listening. Second question is still on listening. And the question is this: reflecting on your own listening habits, how would you describe yourself as a listener? Is there any area of your listening habits that you are working on improving? What are your strengths as a listener? Now, you can give examples from your thous. Other examples may be at work. It doesn't have to be just with your thous. It could be something at work, like really an evaluation of yourself as a listener. I have improved greatly with listening as I got older. But when I was younger, I think that was a valid criticism of me as a student. I thought I would know what the speaker was about to say, and I would stop listening. So, especially in your interpersonal relationships, you don't want to do that, right? Being listened to is very powerful. It's very important. That's the second one. The third one, Julia T. Wood states that communication is irreversible. Do you remember the 8 principles of interpersonal communication? It might have been week 1 or 2. I may put a list up. Okay. Do you agree with the statement that it's irreversible? Once something is said, you can't unsay it. It's the communication model, right? You can apologize, you can try to clarify, but it's powerful. Once you say it, it's out there. Why or why not? Please give an example to support your opinion. Thank you. And I probably told you, maybe I didn't tell you, the time I told one of my good friends who had very curly hair, and I've always had very straight hair, and I've always wanted curly hair. And maybe 45 years ago, I used to go for a lot of perms. I wanted my hair to be curly, and it would never stay. But she just naturally had curly hair. And one day she had just gotten out of the shower, and she had fluff dried her hair, and her hair was really big. And I said, Joanne, your hair looks so great. It looks like a Muppet character. Well, she never forgot that I said that, and she thought that was a high insult. She said, do you think I look like Miss Piggy? I said, well, I love Miss Piggy's hair. Oh, it was bad. I couldn't unsay it. I kept saying, it's a compliment, it's a compliment. I have such straight hair, and you've got such full... No, it didn't matter. I should never have said that Muppet character comment. So sometime to this day, she kids me about it. And she's been one of my oldest friends. All right, number 4. If you are a cell phone user, and I know most of you are by your comments, I think all of you are you aware of your cell phone usage in front of other people? Do you have any rules or etiquettes that you follow? If so, please describe. And I know many of you do. No cell phones at the table, no cell phones out on dates, no cell phones when there's a serious conversation. And you've evolved, because not everybody is there. You should be very, feel good about it. But maybe you have other, rules. My boyfriend and I had to go through this years ago when he got his first BlackBerry. I think we went on a European trip in 2007. I think that was the year. And I was so excited about the trip. It was the first time we'd been out of the country together on a really great trip. We went to France, and he had his BlackBerry with him, and he has his own business. He was on that BlackBerry in the first few days so much I was ready to take that BlackBerry and throw it in the river. And I said, we are on this like once in a lifetime trip, and here you are on your cell phone. You've got this beautiful woman for your company, and you're on your cell phone. And he said, I can't get away from this thing. And sure enough, that was a problem for a lot of new cell phone users. In fact, the BlackBerry people were called crackberries because it was so addictive. But as time has come on, we've naturally come into rules that aren't even spoken, but we both know, like when it's okay, when it's not okay. And if we're together for a walk and a phone call comes in on either one of us, and he may say, is it okay if I take this call? I was waiting for a business client. And I say, yes, but thank you for, yes, I don't mind, but thank you for asking. And the rule is don't be on the phone for like more than 5 minutes. Don't. Just quickly do the business, tell the person you're with someone or you're on a walk, and you'll get back to them. That's my rule. I know. I sound like a high maintenance, right? Well, I think you got that right. I think I am. So cell phone usage and etiquette, very important in interpersonal communication. Number 5, what was the result of your Myers-Briggs? Once again, right, I'm asking you that. Do you agree or disagree with the outcomes? Any surprises? Now, I know many of you wrote this in your journals at length, so I already know what some of you are going to say. And that's why you can cut and paste even your journal entries into this. You don't have to have fresh information if it was yours, right? Yeah. My result has been the same for like the last 45 years. I am an ENFJ, and I am really an ENFJ. I really am. But as I get older, when I take it again, and they say you should take it no more than like every 7 to 10 years because you want some changes, I have noticed that I've become more of a centrist. I am an extrovert, very close to introversion. And in this pandemic, it has really fed my introverted soul. I've had more time alone, more time to think, more time to read. I'm taking 2 classes in the fall. Thanks to Rachel and Cindy in our class, I've been inspired. I've been inspired by Cindy to go back to school. I'm 64 and I'm going back for another degree. Can you imagine that? That's my introvert, because I like to think, I like to process. And sometimes in my day-to-day with my other things I do, I work for the Rhode Island Food Bank. I'm with my students online. Not so much. I mean, you don't know I'm there, but I'm there. But I don't have. I don't know. I'm not thinking as much as I want to be, and you would think I would be as a teacher, but I need that deep thinking, which feeds my introverted soul. And then the N is the big picture. And for a long time, I thought after a certain age, it was too late for me to go back to school. And when Cindy said in her information, she told us her age, and she's a good 15 years younger than me. She looks like she's 25 years younger than me, but she's younger. And she said her age, and she said it's okay. It's okay that she's coming to school now. And I'm like saying, yes, it's okay. And I really want to go back to school, so I made the arrangements, and I'm going back in the fall. And I'm going to law school. I took the LSAT, which is the test to get in. Last year, I got in. And that was my challenge. Could I even get into law school? And I did it. And then I said, oh, I got in. And then some people, you tell too many people your plans and they talk you out of it. And some of my people I know said, oh, you're too old. What do you want to do that for? You don't want to be a lawyer, do you? I said, no, but I love the law and I love to think. And maybe someday I could use some of my skills to be an advocate for people. I would like to work in advocacy law. I'd like to work with different populations that maybe don't have the money or the means to support or defend themselves. So I would like to do that. I could see myself doing that in another 5 years, going into a courtroom too. But anyway, my daughter was incredibly supportive. She says, Mom, your brain is still there. You use it or lose it. And so when I got into law school, they know how old I am. I had an interview and they were saying, no, we have people even older than you in this. And some of them are going to start practices. So anyway, Cindy inspired me to Definitely do it, online or not online. It's not my preferred modality, but I'm in there. I'm going to be doing it. Start my law school classes in September. And then the other thing is, other person's Rachel, Deaf Studies. I took American Sign Language about 2-3 years ago. I got a B plus, which I'm very proud of because that was true retraining my mind, but I absolutely adored it. I have two close deaf girlfriends from the experience that I met on one of my outings, and they're precious to me. But I have not taken the second class. I only took one. So I said, nope, my students are in the Deaf Studies program. They're deaf and blind for Rachel. I'm doing it. So anyway, so thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Cindy. But anyway, Myers-Briggs. I'm an extrovert, introvert. I'm a big picture person and I'm a detail person. I'm getting closer and closer to being very centrist. You might find the same thing. So anyway, so when you do your answers, don't be afraid to give examples like I'm even saying now about my plans and that kind of thing. I love reading. I love reading what you write. I really do. That's the introvert in me. And I am a feeling person, but I'm a thinker too, and I am a just so person. That's the J. I like things organized and planned, but I'm living in a P world, and I know it. Sixth question. Have your relationship with your thous changed in the world of social media? Have they changed? Think back. Any positive changes, any negative changes, please explain. Thank you. And some of you have commented on this in your discussion boards and in your journals, the changes you've noticed, and both positive, negative, or no judging, just what they are. Okay, number 7. What body language cues have you noticed this semester with your thous? Any surprises? What body language habits have you noticed with yourself? Any surprises? Please explain. Anything that you know you do that you would know other people would notice, or things that you do to help yourself, like the hips on the hands on the hips to do the power poses, that kind of stuff, stretching out. I notice myself man spreading, and I shouldn't even use the word man because people spreading, right? Taking up space. I want social distancing. I find when I always wear my mask out in public. If I'm in a public space, I find I want more space. And some of that's for the power, right? But some of that for now very practical reasons. We're going through an epidemic, a deadly epidemic together, and I do believe in any layer of protection we can get, from hand washing to masks to social distancing. But I find myself, my body language is showing that. I do not shame someone who doesn't have a mask on, but somebody said to me, just by wearing my mask is part of the not shaming, but using myself as an example. That's my belief, that we should do everything we can do. But that's, I don't judge people one way or another if they don't. It's very much an open society. But I really wish you'd wear your mask. It'd be tough to be my daughter. Number 8, have your thous changed in last few years? If so, how so? How have they changed? And through the years, when you did this exercise back in June, maybe you had like 2-3 people, but you were thinking back and you say, maybe 5 years ago you would have had more. Maybe you would have more, and maybe now through COVID-19 it's changed again. So whatever you think has been your reality. Okay. Number 9, what qualities of character do you seek out in a friend? Like, what do you seek out in friendship? What's really important to you? And many of you have already discussed this in the discussion boards and in your journals. In other words, what is the definition of a perfect friend for you? Do you possess these same qualities? Loyalty, no one is perfect. We don't name call people. I can be a person that can trip over things. There's no reason to call me clumsy because that's not a nice thing. I'm just a human being that sometimes trips over things, right? I like friends who don't scrutinize me, that don't pick apart everything I do or say or analyze too much. So I would have my own list, loyalty, of course, things in common, and sometimes it's just visceral. There are some people I just enjoy being with so much, right? Maybe they bring out the best in me, maybe I bring out the best in them, and we just enjoy company together. So, if you have that same type of reaction with your kitty cats and your dogs and your horses, even more so with your friends, or even the same thing. Number 10, we got to get on with this. what family practices or traditions that have you have wait a minute what family practices or traditions that you have learned, oh my goodness, I wrote this, that you have learned from your family will you continue once you have your own family? And some of you already have your own families, but what practice or traditions, and this is like a cultural thing that you will carry on, you will carry on. For me, it's thank you notes. My aunt was very big on thank you notes, and my aunt helped raise me, and I imparted that to my daughter, and she's done that with her daughters. And I don't look at people like they're less than if they don't send thank you notes, but that's something. Different manners, different etiquettes, yeah, that it just seemed like so trivial but important, very much so. Birthdays, I like to celebrate birthdays. I even celebrate half birthdays to some of my really close family and friends. So some of those dolls get a half birthday whether they want it or not. All right, so what traditions would you continue that you have learned in your family? Number 11, of all the conversations during discussion boards that have happened in this class, that you have had in this class, was there one conversation discussion board from a classmate that made an impression on you, that you really thought about that answer of somebody else's or the response? Who was the speaking and what was the conversation about? And I know some of you have. I know you have. I know some of you are become friends besides this class, like on Facebook and that kind of thing, from meeting in this class by something someone said. Sometimes somebody says something, and I mentioned Cindy's comments in her introduction and Rachel's, that it doesn't mean that other people don't make great comments, but sometimes there's something somebody says that just like gets you, rings true. Usually it's something in common or that you've been thinking through, and that's why we need each other. No man is an island, and we really do need each other. Okay, so something that you thought of all the student presentations. Now we haven't had any posted yet, so you haven't seen any, but when they come in, and they're only 5 minutes, right? And it can be just as casual as what I'm doing right now. A takeaway, like what have you learned from this class? What will you remember? Maybe it's a series of poems that remind you of this class, music lyrics. When COVID-19 first started happening and I was working with my interpersonal relationships, 2 songs I could not get out of my head. One was by Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark, and other was Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And when I look at those words, they connected so much to my relationships at the time and still do, that I could use those lyrics and say those lyrics to the song actually remind me of my grandchildren, of my boyfriend, of my best friend, and how much that means even more to me when I think of interpersonal relationships and COVID-19. So if you want to do a conversation like that for 5 minutes or even longer if you want to, just like what I'm doing right now on my back sun porch here, please do. I mean, just don't make that presentation into this big research project. It doesn't need to be casual. Look how casual. I'm in my summer clothes. I'm sweating. I'm pretty casual. And you can be the same because you're being true to who you are. And that's what I'm looking for. But the question goes like this. Of all the student presentations, please name one presenter by first name that you particularly enjoyed. Who was the speaker? What was the topic? And why did you enjoy it? Probably because of commonality. All right, number 13. How would you describe this class? What do you think is the point of a class in interpersonal communication? Did it make you think? And do you think that it might be useful someday? Please explain. Thank you very much. This is the type of class, especially for the people going into human services or psychology, that you don't always, you just go through everything here. Not most of you really put a lot of time into your answers, but sometimes you say, oh, it's a class, it's humanities, it's summer, I'm just going to do my stuff and move on. But you think about it later on. Yeah, there are videos that I have put up there that I put up there because they moved me in some way, and I could see how they connect to the student learning outcomes. So you might find that you may have thought it was just a throwaway type of thing, but you say, wow, that did make an effect on, that did make a impression on me that I can use later on in my own personal development. Number 14, what do you think that Maya Angelou, who's my favorite, one of my favorites, poets and philosophers, Maya Angelou meant by this quote? I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget about the way you made them feel. It's so true. Unless you've said something or did something that was so outrageous, but people remember people for their feelings. I've been teaching for 41 years now. I will see a student that I had 25 years ago, 40 years ago, and when they're coming toward me, sometimes I don't remember their name right away. It'll come to me. So if this happens with us when I'm 120 and you see me walking by, say, hi, I'm Joyce Fernandez. I'm Rachel. Hi, I'm Cindy. Hi, I'm um, uh, Megan, hi, and just say hi, and then I will know immediately my relationship with you. Were you a student of mine? Did I have a warm feeling towards you? Even in interpersonal, in online classes, I get feelings about you. I feel like I know you, and I know how crazy that is. But you get a visceral feeling about somebody, so you remember how people made you feel. And then last one, number 15 is, let's see if I can get this. We watched numerous TED Talks online. Please name one that you particularly enjoyed. Why did you enjoy it? That's it. So this is it. So what I said before, like whatever, 40 minutes ago when I first started this tutorial, make sure you save your answer until the very end when you were really ready. And you can wait. It can sit there for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, because I made my decision. I'm going to open this up. I'm probably going to open this up very soon. Save and submit is the last bottom. Do not make a mistake and press that until you really want to do that. Just keep saving your answers. But 1 paragraph to 2 paragraphs, it doesn't have to be more. It just has to be true to who you are. So every person that submits an answer is true to who they are. You're not copycatting somebody else, or you're not looking up the right answer in any place on the internet. It's your answer. Your answer is your best, with your own vocabulary, your own spirit, and your own integrity. And I have enjoyed getting to know you so much. I talk to you constantly, but you don't know it. I read your answers, your responses. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I can see so many connections. We would have. I feel badly we were in a class face to face, because I would have enjoyed meeting you first, for face to face. But I'm enjoying that you're in this class. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy that you're going to get a B or an A in this class. No one is failing. If you've done the work at all, people are getting a B. And if you've exceeded it with the hundreds, which some of you have, and I'm not trying to make the others feel badly, an A. I mean, it's just going to be that way. The final exam, you're going to do it. That final video, you're going to do it. I might do another video about the video if I don't get it. I've had a few people send me the videos, but there's not been a lot of push for it. So I do want them in, though, so I can have time to post them the same way you did your introduction, same way. All right, everyone, I hope you're having a good night. It's almost time for dinner time, my favorite time. I'm like Snoopy. Can't wait to eat. Hope you're having a good day. And I know this has been a tough time, and I still can't get over all the deaths. I can be in a very good mood and spirit, and I start to think about what we're going through, and I get very sorrowful, but I've become very spiritual. I'm just thinking, you know what, stand tall, do the best you can, and spread your joy. Help others. That's the key, helping others.